I just finished up indoors today. It was better weather indoors today. Probably getting a little soft. Guys had a long week, good week. Started on Monday. It'll be a little loud as they come through here. So we'll just talk over them. They're got a lot of energy right now. Started with the weight training on Sunday, extra practice on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then of course today where we spent a lot of time on situations, a little overtime, script, 2-point plays, third down, 2-minute, a little bit of everything today, a little red zone, backed up, short yardage, music. So we try to handle a lot of situations today and finish up a good week of preparation. Guys are excited about a great challenge, playing on national TV and a sold-out stadium. So with that, we'll open up to questions. If you have any. If you don't?
Any injuries this week?
No injuries this week. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay. None to report of any.
How's he moving around?
He's doing pretty good. You know, both those guys are past the stage of, you know, any kind of swelling and effusion. So, you know, what you're really... ESPN's here, I guess. Okay. Where they are with these high ankle sprains, it's really just a little bit of pain that they're having to tolerate, which, you know, again, at times, you know, becomes a bit of a nuisance more than anything else, but they're moving well. Both he and Nick, you know, have similar injuries that did not get in the way of their preparation at all this week. Took all the reps with the first team.
Brian, I don't think we asked you after the USC game or on Sunday about Shoemake. He went off with what looked like a shoulder injury with about a minute to go.
He had a brachial plexus, you know, nerve impingement, and he was, you know, probably a couple of days. We needed the week with him, but he was cleared on Monday for full participation. Yep.
Alex out for the year, your backup offensive line. What's your sort of feeling on that group right now as you got to maybe mix and match a little bit?
Yeah. You know, I think really, you know, when we look at it, you know, we're obviously a little bit thinner at the position. You know, McGovern has to play inside and out. He can play a little bit of guard for us. He can play a little bit of tackle. You know, Bivin will be at one tackle. McGovern will play a little bit of guard and play a little bit of tackle if we need him to go in on the right side. And then Sam Mustafa is playing a little bit of guard as well. So we've cross-trained him at both the backup center position and the guard position. So we're really working with 3 guys, you know, in that, or 2 guys in that guard position with McGovern and Sam Mustafa.
End up sort of altering reps for those guys this week just to get them up to speed a little bit faster, or did you feel that was necessary?
Well, we brought Tristan Hodge up, and he took some reps at center so we could get Sam into some guard reps. So he'll travel with us. Hodge will travel with us this week.
Brian, on that note, Fontelis had been in that right guard spot for part of camp, and then we saw McGovern was moved into the depth chart. What does he need to do now here?
Well, John's still taking reps in the second group. I just think that, you know, McGovern's a little bit ahead of John. John's a strong kid. You know, he just is not as, you know, probably athletic. Doesn't move quite in the way that we think McGovern moves, and McGovern gives us some flexibility of playing inside and out.
Sean talked on Tuesday about the second half of the season and his confidence and being the best quarterback in the country. Is that coming from him, or is that something you talked about him to say, hey, let's up it a notch here?
Did he talk into the third person too? That's a lot for him. He's a very confident kid. I don't think he's cocky, but I'll just give you an example. Today I thought his communication and his overall presence today with our offense was akin to a fifth-year senior. He just has a great presence of out there, clearly communicates, takes control out there, and if he's talking like that, he backed it up today. He's got to go execute. He's got to run our offense, stay within what we're asking him to do. But he's a very confident player right now.
Sheldon talked about starting fast and coming out with the hair on fire. They obviously finished well against USC. I mean, putting the complete game for the defense. I mean, you feel like that this could be that game?
Well, I just think that they have not put the 4 quarters together that they're capable of, and I think that that's going to happen. I really do. I'm not just wishing. I think when all those guys are playing together and we're not making some of the correctable mistakes, that we can play really good football defensively.
Now, this is a little off topic of the game, but concussion protocols, and I'm sure the NCAA is making studies, long-term studies. Do you guys do anything to maybe stay ahead of that, just knowing and saying, okay, we want to have our own studies because somebody's going to be asking for research at some point someday?
Absolutely. I think Jack Swarbrick has been somebody that has been really he has really pushed us and our department to look at different studies and different things that are going on. We have a close relationship with the group at the University of Cincinnati that has done some really interesting work in the field of concussion studies. They have limited their concussions to just a handful through some training that they're doing, some vision training in particular, that has gotten us to look at some of those things in particular. So he's really aggressive, Jack is, in terms of making sure that we're looking at all the literature and what we can do to stay on top of that, as well as having, we added a staff member this year full-time in our training room that is specifically has a background in that area, is in the press box during games. All of our trainers now have earpieces in or communicating with each other. So we've really taken the steps. Even in my time here, I've seen a huge commitment in that field.
Ask Jack this, but I mean, it sounds like football's at the forefront and probably going across the board with all the sports.
Yeah, I think football always, starts as the mover in it, but it's certainly for all the sports. But I think Jack would be happy to talk a little bit more, and we've really pushed, I think, not only our doctors and trainers, but the entire department to be on the forefront of it.
Brian, I was reading a story that Pete Carroll brought a new form of tackling.
Yes.
He gets credit with it. Do you teach? Have you considered teaching that? Or
No,
do
we
you,
teach
do you,
it.
Do you teach that?
Yeah, we actually have an apparatus that they use as well to teach the tackling. It brings it takes the head out of the tackling circuit, and we use it quite regularly. It actually it's kind of interesting. It looks like an inner tube with an inflatable in the inner tube. Yeah, we use it in the spring, and it allows you to really work your feet through the tackle and get your head out of it. And so we use it all year in our tackling circuit every Tuesday.
Targeting penalties appear to be down across the board.
Yeah, I think that everybody is more cognizant of it. I think certainly the rule itself, putting the rule in, the teaching of it, and then I think the education of both the players, the coaches, and the referees have something to do with it. I think we all saw some targeting calls that simply weren't target. So I think it's all encompassing in all those areas.
I know you said free safety is kind of a fluid situation right now. Do you have any idea, though, if Redfield or Farley will get the start on Saturday?
I sure do.
Is that something you're willing to share with us?
Ah, very good follow-up. They're both going to play, and they'll both contribute. As you probably expected, both of those guys are important to us, and they both have to play, and I expect both of them to contribute significantly in what we do.
Brian, when you were talking about your confidence in getting a complete game from your defense, how's Brian Van Gorder been with them? I mean, has he been encouraged? Does he think that they're on the verge? Has he been frustrated at times? What's kind of his demeanor been?
I think he's been similar to what, I think if you could read, what I'm saying in the press conferences, really feel good about our front seven. I think our corners are starting to play more consistently. We need to get more out of our safety play, and we think we're going to, and we have to. I think that's, consistency in the back end of our defense, continue to evolve up front. It seems as though I get asked a lot about Joe Schmidt, but Joe's been solid for us. Maybe he's missed a tackle here or there, but when I actually, you guys even kind of got me to look at some of his production numbers, and they were down a little bit against USC and Clemson, but those are two very fast offenses, and let's face it, Joe's he's a box player. You know what I mean? And so if you take him and look at what his production was against the two option teams, they were off the charts. And I expect his production over the next 5 weeks to be really, really high. And so the front seven, really good. Corner play is getting better. I think we'd want to see our safety play to continue to evolve, and I think Brian would feel the same way.
You're kind of answering that question, but Kavare, you had the little chat with him that was captured on Showtime against USC, and it seemed to spark him there. Have you seen the same Kavare this week, a better Kavare?
Yeah, I think Kavare understands that where he needs to grow and how he needs to approach every single day, and to be the kind of player he wants to be, he's got to have those kinds of practices, and I think he's challenged himself. At least that's the way I see it, and I feel good about his preparation, and he's set a standard now, in his own mind. And once a player set it, it's easier for me to coach him, and I think he's already set that standard.
Anything else?
Good. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.